So they say that third time's a charm, but sadly this isn't the case here for the Xiaomi Mi 5C. But first, an important message here from our sponsor, Taurus. The Megan Eco Plus Ultra Vacuum Cleaner with 1000 watts of suction power, because even your mobile phones get dusty. Now you could say that the C stands for China only, because you have to unlock the 3G bands and 4G bands on this to get it to work. Check out my unboxing video for information on that. The deal breaker is this right here. It's atrocious 3G speeds outside of China. There's some sort of bug on here, so we can't get any decent kind of speeds here. It has an horrific ping rate, so slow that when I step out of 4G, that I completely cannot load any single website, even sending a WhatsApp message. Now, I wouldn't hold my breath for Xiaomi to fix this, because this is a phone that's really intended just for the Chinese domestic market. So they're not really going to be focusing, I believe, on 3G speeds outside of China. And it could actually be something to do with the hardware they've used in the custom chipset, the Surge S1. Now, this is Xiaomi's first custom chipset. It's running 8 ARM Cortex A35 cores on there with a maximum turbo of 2.2 GHz. Graphics is handled by a 4-core Mali T860. Normally we only see a dual-core version of this GPU. The best part of the Mi 5C has to be its screen and build quality. The screen maximum output of 640 lux is very good, but the outdoor legibility isn't the greatest, as you can see here. It's a little hard to see. It could be a little bit better. I think it's just down to the reflection and the glass they have used on it. Now, I don't know whether this is Gorilla Glass 4. It could actually just be Dragon Tail, but it does have 2.5D edges, you can see there. Feels very nice in hand, this mobile. Easy access to the power and volume rocker there. Now, they are made out of metal. The whole back metal. This is the matte black version, as you can see, is a complete fingerprint smudge magnet, as you'd expect really with this kind of color. Now, top and bottom, we do have glass here. That is for the antenna reception. You can see the 12 megapixel camera, powerful LED flash there. Very nice design. I'm really happy with it. If they put something like a Snapdragon 653 or the new 660 in this build, I would be completely happy with it. Along here on the left hand side, you can see that's a SIM tray for 2 nano SIMs. Unfortunately, no micro SD card support with this mobile at all. Along the top there, secondary microphone, an IR transmitter, and then a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the bottom, Type-C port, loudspeaker, the main microphone, and you can see those little strips there, which are the antenna lines. And also along the top here is an 8 megapixel front-facing camera with an f2.2 aperture. I'll have some samples of that later on in this review. Other specs include a 2860 mAh battery. We also have Bluetooth 4.1, wireless AC, and 64 gigabytes of internal storage. In Xiaomi's press event, they mentioned that it would be running the latest version of Android 7, but as you can clearly see here, it's still Android 6.0, and even the MIUI version 8.1.14 isn't exactly the latest. I have had 3 over-the-air updates, and they've just been bug fixes so far for mostly the camera. Another positive is the battery. To charge it, it only takes 1 hour to get to 90%, and 1 hour and 35 minutes to fully charge the phone, so very quick. Now, the Rom Performance for the most part is quick and snappy. However, it to me feels like a beta ROM, and I'm a beta tester for them, because there has been a few what I would call stutters, and it has crashed completely on me. I've had the ROM just completely lock up. I've had to hold down the power button for around 10 seconds to completely power it off, and to me that is really unacceptable. You don't release a phone with pretty much beta software on there. So you can hear from that the loudspeaker is reasonably loud. There's some distortion to it at 100%, which is common, and the maximum output is 85 decibels, which isn't bad at all. The second firmware update really improved the loudness of the speaker, which at first sounded really quiet if you've seen my unboxing video. Also to mention that the voice call quality I found to be good. It's not bad. The other user on the other side said I sounded fine to them, so no complaints with the call quality. And the 3.5mm headphone jack It's clean, there's no static, there's no hiss or interference over the line. Maximum volume doesn't seem as loud as it should be to me. If you're concerned whether it will actually be able to play all of the games out there, I can confirm that yes, every single game out there I have tested has had playable frame rates, but you are going to see the few little lags and stutters here and there, which can be a little bit annoying. So it's not going to be the fastest device. Now if you want to see more gaming, please check out my gaming review of the Mi 5C. Now onto a few benchmarks here and some wireless and Wi-Fi tests. So this here is Antutu score 61,000. That puts it around the Snapdragon 625 in terms of performance. Now 4G speeds, very good. I didn't have any problems with that. 48 download, 40 upload, perfectly fine. Just like the wireless, which I found has good range and very good performance here from the wireless AC. Most mobiles normally top out around 120. A lot of them that do have dual band or wireless AC, but this performs really well. So at least we know it's got a good wireless chipset. And as mentioned at the start of the video, this is the deal breaker here. As soon as you go out of a 4G zone and you end up having to use 3G, game over, forget about it with those kind of speeds. Now battery life, I got around 6 hours 40 minutes here. Now I was giving it quite a beating. I would call this medium to heavy use. Kept the screen on actually the whole time, so really it is heavy use. Held up okay, not too bad at all. A screen on time of 6 hours and 29 minutes. Now this involved using Chrome, streaming, YouTube as well, gaming, you name it, WhatsApp. I was using it a lot, full on there. So screen of course was the main consumer there of the battery. And for some reason there's a bug here, it doesn't list all the applications that I was using there. Now the Geekbench 4 score. Now the internal storage. It's using an eMMC 5 spec here, so we have good sequential reads of 242, sequential writes of 122, and also the randoms, not bad there at all for that type of storage. This is the Base Mark X score. Work 2.0, and just wanted to mention as well that GPS, not really that good. The more you move around, the higher the accuracy gets. The accuracy doesn't tend to get any better than around 8. Here at the moment when I took that screenshot it was around 12. So I'm not actually happy with the GPS performance there. And this was the last update that went through that fixed a lot of the camera application, which I'm going to move on to now. So here we are in the stock camera application. The shutter rate is excellent. I mean, it's instantaneous, really. No problems with that. So the camera is still quality. I'm just going to show you some images now that I've taken. I find it to be acceptable, even in low light. However, low light does tend to over sharpen a hell of a lot, as you can see with some of those images coming up. But in good light, you can see, takes a really good photo. Not too bad, I think, for this price range. It's definitely better than the Redmi Note 4 series or the Redmi series, the more budget-orientated mobiles from them. It's a step up from that. So camera quality is at its worst when it goes into video. So here are some video samples. And now look at that front-facing camera. So 720p only, you can't shoot in 1080p. They haven't improved the resolution. Even though it's an 8 megapixel camera, I feel you should be able to get at least 1080p out of this. I'm not happy at all with the camera performance in video mode because it's not reaching 30 frames per second, topping out around 24 frames per second, 23 in 4K, even the front-facing camera can't do 30 frames per second. That is horrible performance. They really need to optimize the camera and the software on this before I could even recommend getting this mobile. So there we have it, an all-round disappointment, the Mi 5C. I would not get this phone yet until they fix those problems, which hopefully are all just software related. So they can release a patch that fixes the 3G speeds, improves on that camera so we can get at least 30 frames per second that we really need, not 23, not 21 frames per second. That's hopeless, that's not acceptable. Also, what isn't acceptable is the software. It's not really stable. It just feels like I'm a tester for them. I'm a beta tester here, testing out their ROM. What I do like about the phone is the hardware is very nice. It's a good looking phone, feels great in hand, excellent screen, excellent build quality. Fingerprint Reader, I haven't mentioned it until now, works flawlessly. It just unlocks, works every single time, as I've come to expect with all their other phones. So yes, as I said, don't get this one yet. Wait for the updates. Thank you so much for watching this review, and I do hope to catch you back in the channel soon with future reviews.